My name's Ian Christie. I used to be a philosopher, now I'm a film historian. The ideal qualifications, you might think, for talking about Derek Jarman's last but one film, Wittgenstein. A film about probably the greatest 20th century philosopher, a strange, enigmatic man. It would be Derek Jarman's last but one film, made in the shadow of his impending death. And yet, it's a joyous film. It's probably his funniest film, full of jokes, full of good humour, full of brilliant invention.
What does this mean?
It's a gesture of contempt.
A cyclist did this to me as I was crossing the road. I decided then and there to kill myself.
There was some controversy over the film. The script was by Terry Eagleton, a literary critic and theorist, and it was a fairly reverent view of Wittgenstein. Derek Jarman was anything but reverent. He was not going to take the script as written and simply realise it. Instead, he used the script as a springboard to invent a series of brilliant, witty tableaux in which some of the great actors and personalities that Jarman had worked with over his career come back, as it were, to play some of the great personalities of the early 20th century. Tilda Swinton, who had become so important to his work, she'd become his muse, plays a wonderfully colourful Lady Ottoline Morell, and she's partnered by Michael Gough, the veteran of many horror movies, as Bertrand Russell. It's a film which reanimates the cliches of costume drama, and in doing so, the central performance, of course, is absolutely vital. That's Carl Johnson, who had appeared in so many of Jarman's earlier films, playing Ludwig Wittgenstein. How do you play a great philosopher? Do you play him with furrowed brow? Do you show him thinking great thoughts? Well, Wittgenstein had a very unusual way of doing philosophy. He didn't like doing philosophy. He thought there was something rather degrading about philosophy, and he saw his role as to put an end to philosophy by solving its problems or dissolving them.
Philosophy hunts for the essence of meaning. There's no such thing. There's no such thing!
It's also a performance, of course, which conveys the ambiguity of Wittgenstein's sexuality. Was he gay or not? The jury is still out on that. For Jarman, clearly, he was one of the gay heroes of the 20th century. And Johnson's performance wonderfully captures Wittgenstein's sense of alienation from the world around him, his dedicated pursuit of philosophical truth, even at the cost of great personal unhappiness. Did he misrepresent Wittgenstein's complex ideas in doing this? Some thought he did. Interestingly, Wittgenstein's biographer, Ray Monk, rode to the rescue and declared that Jarman's embellishments, Jarman's wonderfully inventive treatment of some of Wittgenstein's most idiosyncratic examples, was very, very true to the spirit of the philosopher's thinking.
I'm a philosopher, Ludwig Wittgenstein. Who are you?
You could call me Mr. Green. May I ask you a question? How many toes do philosophers have?
10.
Fascinating. That's how many humans have.
Oh, God.
If there were more films like this, you feel that philosophy could be a prime-time subject. But there aren't any more films like this, because sadly, Wittgenstein was to be very nearly Derek Jarman's last work. Already very ill with AIDS when he made the film, it was touch and go whether he would complete it. Wittgenstein stands as his last fully achieved film, and it's a wonderful note to go out on. An inventive, joyous, witty film that brings together so many strands of Derek Jarman's life.